Coach Jake, appreciate the time. We'll start with opening thoughts on the game from you and then take questions.
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta play a full game. We didn't do that today, and there were some good things that happened and things that we hadn't gotten all year with some transition, but we just weren't able to put it together for a full game.
Yeah, inconsistency, I think, cost us. When we had our opportunities, we didn't take advantage of them. I thought we had some nice shots again. It's kind of been our challenge all year. Though we had our hands free on a couple of occasions down the stretch and didn't finish, and they came back and came right back at us. Again, we got to do a little better job of executing the scout and the game plan, but you got to give them a lot of credit. They played hard. When they had opportunities, they put the ball in the cage, and that was the difference down the stretch. They didn't, we didn't.
Questions?
Coach, straight from the Drelax podcast. Emmett Carroll played absolutely great tonight, and he's put in some good string of performances. Can you just talk about what that's added for the team and what it's been to see him kind of step into this role now?
Yeah, I think it's really solidified that position for us. He certainly, early on when we got out on him a little bit, he made a bunch of saves, as he did the whole game. A couple of goals down the stretch. They got to the middle of the field, they got their hands free, and those are tough. And they did shoot the ball really well. But he, again, he held up his end of the bargain today and has down the stretch for us here.
Coach Matt with USA Lacrosse, what can you kind of tell your guys to use this as a reset moving forward to the last part of the season?
I don't know if I can tell them anything that we haven't talked about. I think there's a lot of, learning pieces out there tonight. And again, we struggled in the pick game. We didn't slide the way the way we had planned to slide, and they took advantage of it. And we didn't shoot the ball consistently well, and some turnovers that were, just some decision-making things even down the stretch. So we just have to be more disciplined, and we have to execute more consistently.
Questions on Zoom? Kyle?
Yeah, Coach Jack McDonald tonight got his first 2 career goals. Seemed to really be comfortable out there tonight for you guys. What did you make of his performance and, just the overall fit that he had tonight in the matchups that, that he was kind of placed into?
Yeah, he did a good job. And he made some great runouts. He got us some extra possessions. One of the things that we like about him is he does give us some transition from defense to offense. He did a lot of that in college, and it's something that we haven't had a lot of. We got it early in the game, and then we mishandled some balls and some opportunities later in the game. But I thought Jack did a really nice job tonight.
Miles?
Coach, TJ and Matt Brenda and Aiden Carroll both had quiet first half. So what was your message for them in the locker room at halftime for them to come out and have that kind of electric third quarter that they had?
Just to be more aggressive, to be a little bit more patient in their dodges and in their setups and just the way they were going about offense. And I thought we were for that period of time. Unfortunately, we didn't sustain it through the rest of the game.
Phil?
Yeah, coming in that timeout in the fourth quarter before Malloy's goal, what was the message to the defense? What was the approach that you guys had on that play? And thoughts on Dylan Malloy getting free from that pick and scoring in his play tonight?
It's just something we didn't execute well all night. It wasn't something new that we said in the huddle. You see the back of his helmet. We were supposed to slide, and we missed a slide on that one. We missed a slide on a few of those, and or we were late, and they took advantage of them. Again, we didn't execute consistently in that aspect of the game, and they put us in positions where we had to make decisions, and you make the wrong decision, they score a goal, and that's what happened on a number of times in that fourth quarter.
Kyle?
Yeah, for Jake, Kyle Aldridge has been in the lineup now 2 straight weeks for you guys. what's been impressive about just, his style of play, how he fits into, your short stick group, and what did you see from him tonight? He gets 4 ground balls for you guys. How do you feel like he's kind of, fit into that short stick room for you?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a good fit for us. He's a good guy in the locker room, and he comes off the wings and came up with some big ground balls there, and he's able to run the field and stay on and set some good picks and switches. So there's a lot that he brings to the table, and it's just part of the position, and I'm glad he's part of the team.
Miles?
Coach, when you look at the box score, only 1 assist tonight coming from TJ Malone. I was just wondering your thoughts on that.
Well, they weren't sliding a lot. So, we had to win some of those individual matchups. And again, that's the adjustments we have to make. And we did win a number of them. And when you win them, you got to put the ball in the cage. And we didn't do that consistently. I think in the fourth quarter, we probably had 3 or 4 opportunities right on top of Chase. Chase played very well tonight, certainly. But even the last one we had, I thought we did a nice job, and Aiden did a nice job getting to the cage, and we got to finish those more consistently.
Dan?
Yeah, Coach, obviously next week must win. Tuesday is the trade deadline. Do you guys anticipate maybe trying to be active to bolster your roster ahead of, a must-win weekend in Boston?
I haven't even thought about it at this point, honestly. I like our lineup. I like the people that are in the locker room. We're capable. We're just not getting the job done consistently. And, I don't know that adding someone to the lineup in the last week of the season is going to make much of a difference on that. And maybe even more, may even put you more out of sync. Got a lot of young guys out there, and they're learning as they go.
Chris?
Hey, Coach. Rob back in the lineup this evening, had some aggressive drives from X. Just wanted to get your thoughts on his performance.
Yeah, Rob did a nice job. He did a nice job organizing. He moved the ball when he needed to move the ball. He was able to win some matchups, put the ball in the cage. Again, he's very capable. Obviously, he's a professional. He's been doing it for a long time. And, I was really pleased with what he was able to do tonight.
Any other questions on Zoom? Anyone else in the room?
Hey, Coach, this is for you. So this is TJ's second year. As what's it been like seeing him improve and develop over this season and really step into the role from an offensive standpoint more for the team?
I mean, I think it was, it's an expectation. We expect that, he's going to continue to evolve. He's going to continue to get better. He's going to continue to get more comfortable. So, no surprises with any of that. Certainly we have high expectations for him, and, he knows that, and he has high expectations for himself. So I kind of just expect him to continue to evolve.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Jake.
Yep.
Thank you.
Coach TD Dillon, congrats on the win. We'll start with opening thoughts on the game and then take questions.
You guys go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it feels great to get that win. We've been talking a lot about just, mentally believing that we could win and close out a game. And I think at every piece of the field, we kind of stepped up. Obviously, there were some lulls, but, TD and the face-off X, our defense was freaking unbelievable. Only really transition goals that first half. Chase was doing a great job. And, we're just happy on the offense end. We could have stepped up. And, we obviously came back at the end. It was a huge team win going into hopefully the playoffs. So, I think we should all be really pumped up about that and just felt good.
Yeah, just to echo all of Dylan's points, I don't think our belief ever wavered, and I think we love our locker room, and I think you look to the guy to the right and the left, and Coach has obviously done a great job of we're never out of the fight. He always says it, and that fourth quarter when things started to look bleak, we just kept chipping away one goal at a time, and then we're able to squeak that one out and get the win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game, a lot of great games this weekend, which is awesome. I think we're getting to that point in the season where every game is going to be a battle. Really proud of the guys. Great team that we were fortunate to come out on the winning end tonight. I think the big part there, we get down to it. I think we scored 4 in the fourth, and I don't think they put one up. So to be able to answer when we needed to and close out a game, it feels good. It feels really good to finally outscore somebody in the fourth quarter and really put it together. So proud of these guys. I've kind of said it all year with our guys, behind the scenes. It's like, I feel like we're a young team and we've been growing every week. And even when we lose, we're growing and getting better. And, the goal is just to keep trending that way and at the right time of the year. And I think we're doing that right now. So.
Coach Matt with USA Lacrosse. Your guys talked a little bit about belief, going 47 some odd minutes without a lead. How much grit do you feel like they showed going out there to keep battling?
A ton of grit. I mean, I think this team is a completely different team than we were at the start of the season mentally. I think being a young team, it takes some games to get under your belt to really learn how to win and understand what it takes and just believe that you can do it. And I've tried to instill that in these guys, over and over again. And at the beginning of the year, I mean, I went around the room with them multiple times and was like, guys, how many of you have a championship in this league? How many of you guys have a championship in the sixes event? How many of you guys won a national championship? How many of you guys are all Americans, right? Like they're every guy in this league is a rock solid, phenomenal player. When you get to this level, every game is a battle, and you got to believe that you can win, and you got to know that when you walk on that field, you're going to come out victorious. And if you don't do that, you're not going to win. And I think now there was a different swagger in the locker room today than we've had in the past, and I think that guys understand that we're here to win and that they can do it, and they believe in each other and they believe in what we're doing. So I think I'm really proud of them and that grit. I think that's a little bit of who these guys are and who we are, right? It doesn't have to be the prettiest game, but we finished it, and we finished it with a W.
Coach Dre for the Dre Likes podcast. So I will say that the Redwoods this year, there's definitely more passion that the game is played with, and the guys have come together as a collective. You have Dylan with a career high 5 goals in the game, and TD's dominating at the stripe. How have you kind of cultivated that culture where everyone's able to find a second gear and find more passion and just give a little bit more?
I'll let these guys answer that. I mean, from my side, it's the guys care, and we built that at camp. We built a really strong group, and I think the guys care about the guy next to them. The guys believe in each other, and the biggest thing that I presented to them at the beginning of the year, it's like, guys, this game's a lot of fun when you're playing it for the guy next to you. You're not worried about getting your goals or getting this or getting that or worrying if your guy scores goals or anything else. It's about playing as a team, doing your job, and then when you do that and you support those guys and you're excited when other people are scoring, it makes the game a whole lot more fun, and you're going to get yours, and I think the guys, believe that and execute it. But I mean, you guys answer that.
I think it comes down to a trickle-down effect. Our coaches all played in the league. They have a ton of passion for the game. I think they're the most probably emotional in the locker room, ready to just rip someone's head off, and they're not even playing. So it comes from them kind of cultivating that culture. just the passion for it and firing us up. And obviously we're trying to do our job out there, but they also played, so they get it. Like, we have a long leash to, make mistakes, throw the ball away. So, it feels really good when they kind of know what it's like to be in that spot. They're not going to rip us out. So just their belief really goes a long way, I think, for the whole team, especially with the young guys, like kind of their first go at this, knowing that, hey, you can make mistakes. You're going to be here next week. We're all good. Like, we're building this locker room to last.
Yeah, I think that locker room piece is awesome. The rookies call Malloy Gramps, and then you have rookies, like, it's just awesome. I think everyone, relative to age, like, it just works together really well. And I think a lot of it goes to guys like Romar and Malloy, like the kind of the elder statesman of the team, and then they've done such a good job incorporating. Brian Tevlin is one of the best leaders I've ever been around. I think there's just such a good culture, and Ryder stepped up really big too. So I just think everyone really likes being with each other, and with that, everyone believes. I think I can talk to anyone on the team, and it's like you don't go and have these cliques or anything. Everyone's just one unified group, and I think it shows on the field.
I think a big part of that is Malloy over here is roommates with JB as a rookie. Most of the other teams, you get veteran guys, and they're stuck with guys they've been with, and they kind of close themselves off and do their thing. We got the oldest guy on our team with the youngest guy on our team, and it's great. And I'm proud of him for doing that and taking him under his wing. And like, that's the kind of team we are. It doesn't matter. There's no separation in our room whatsoever, and that's something I'm really proud of. But I'm just proud of the guys for being who they are.
Yeah, it goes even further than that. JB's dad's been coming in our room pregame the last 2 games, so it's a family affair at this point. It's awesome.
His family, I think, has been to every single game this year. Yeah. So it's they're superstitious now. He's got to come in and get some daps before they head out for the game. So it's great.
Questions on Zoom? Phil?
Yeah, a few weeks ago, before the Atlas game, Sam English is ruled out. Aiden Denenza gets moved from the protected roster to the game day roster. He's scored in every single game since then, and tonight he has 2 goals. He's on the power play, and he sets Dylan that pick for you on the game-winning goal. What can you say about his role and growth in these past few weeks, and the role he played in that game-winning goal tonight?
I mean, Aiden Denenza is an unbelievable player. And I think every week, to your point, he's getting a little more comfortable and showing what he's capable of. And I think, you look at him, he's a big, strong kid. He was a phenomenal player at Duke. Was excited to have the opportunity. What I'm really proud of is he had a few weeks of not playing. I don't think he played since the 2nd or 3rd week, and came back and answered the bell. And not only that, I think Aiden, what he brings is just a positive attitude, but he's an extremely smart, savvy lacrosse player, and he understands where to be, when to move, when to set picks. If you watch his game, he works really hard off ball. And I think having that connection with Mac as well, from playing together, I think that kind of sets both of them just at ease, and they feel comfortable with each other. And I think he is a guy that's just been awesome. And, it was actually Coach Backlett. We were talking on the bus, and he's like, I think Denenza is going to give us a really good look on man up. And, we talked about it and, put him in. I think, he might end up being a piece there. So, just really proud of his development. And I think he has the potential to be a star in this league going forward.
Dan?
Yeah, for all you guys, I'm just curious your reaction to hearing that with about 9:22 left in the game, the win probability chart had you guys at a 2% chance to win that game. I guess your thoughts hearing that stat.
We don't like numbers. Doesn't matter.
It didn't really go through our heads, but that's cool.
I didn't hear it, but I wish I did because I would use that to fire us up a little bit. I mean, I literally had it on the board today. Like, we're never out of the fight. It was up on the whiteboard, and that's it, man. We're scrapping. I mean, numbers don't matter until the clock ends.
Kyle?
Yeah, for TD, this is the first time you guys have beaten the Whipsnakes as an organization since your rookie year. Just talk about the resiliency that you guys showed. Obviously, that 5-game stretch that you guys had earlier in the year where, You guys just were having difficulty closing out games today. You close it out. You don't allow the Whipsnakes to score a goal in the fourth. Just talk about the culmination of kind of building and finally getting over the hump of beating the Whipsnakes and being able to kind of come together as a team and play what seemed like a full 4 quarters.
Yeah, just all goes back to that belief in one another and what's happened in years past and what's happened when we went on like a losing streak. There's nothing you can do about it now. So what are you going to do with your next best action? So last week was huge, hitting that reset and just focusing on what's in front of us. And I think the coaches did a great job. Like, who cares? There's nothing you can do about it now. And that's kind of been our mentality, and we've taken it into the game. So if we don't get a bounce, move on to the next play. We can't dwell and let things grow, and I think that's kind of it showed tonight.
Phil?
Dylan, massive game from you tonight, as mentioned, and as alluded to beforehand, a new pair of cleats tonight. How did you get a hold of Coach's cleats? What was the kind of conversation behind that, and how did they feel?
Yeah, Coach is always willing to do anything and everything for us. So immediately after the game, he was telling me he probably has some like in the storage unit or in his basement or something. Text him during the week, let me know your size. I didn't even text him, but he texted me. I found a couple pairs. What do you want? What do you need? And honestly, I was like, these are freaking crazy. Maybe for playoffs I'll try to wear them, but I was honestly going to go with the cleats I started wearing mid-game last week. Just thought I had to convert, and it was time. So I wore those yesterday for practice, actually, like totally convinced I was wearing those moving on. And then coach was like, you should really give these a try. Like, come on. And I wore them for morning practice, and they just felt so good again because I'm so used to this type of cleat. So I had to rock them. You know, I was obviously a little self-conscious, but the guys really liked them. So I was like, screw it, I'll wear them. And, you know, I don't think I'll ever take them off now.
Yeah, I was like, he's either going to have a day or he's going to take them off on the sidelines. So I'm glad they worked out. So, yeah, I overnighted them to Nico, our equipment guy. He lives here. And so I mailed them out just to make sure that they got here and were covered. So I'm glad it worked out.
Coach, can I ask how long it took to find this?
You know what? I'm actually in the process of moving. So I had found as you guys can imagine, I have just stuff from the years, and you know, those were special being from an all-star game. You know, so I had them, and they were just in a bag, and I happened to see them like, I don't even know, maybe a month before I left for training camp, and I knew I had something. I couldn't remember what they were. So when I pulled those out, you know, I texted him a video, and that was it. So here we are, five goals, right? Career high for the league. So, you know, excited that it worked out. So if someone else out there has another pair of them, let's send them our way.
Chris?
Hey, Dylan, second half, got a pair of assists sent your way from Chris Kavanaugh. What has the experience been like as you've gone through this season, just getting used to playing alongside him and running on that attack line with him?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. He surprises me every game. He steps up in big moments. I mean, he's a quiet player, but, you know, he does his job, and he helps us all. So, I mean, we're getting more and more used to each other. Obviously, him and Garnsey had the connection to start, but, you know, playing with those guys is so much fun, and, you know, Chris is an amazing player. So he really helps our team, obviously. I don't know what he ended with, but he was freaking killing it. So, you know, obviously that set us up to be in a great spot at the end of the game.
I think the big thing with those two guys, you know, on the right side, where they both like to be in the same spot sometimes, and they just have a great working relationship, I'll call it, you know, where they communicate a lot and they talk through things. And if we're going to come off something from a game plan or change some stuff at halftime, you know, those guys, they never get stubborn. They're always willing and happy to make the move, you know, if it's going to make our team successful to you know, go from behind or on the wing or, you know, whatever that looks like. Those guys are always willing to work together, which is great. And, you know, you love to see that. And I think Cav is, I mean, unbelievable. Unreal day today. I think he just steps up in big moments. He's one of the most competitive guys I've ever been around. And he is so hard on himself to be successful, you know. And I think when he misses a cage, he gets so mad, you know. And then you see him, you know, dial it in. He gets focused. And he comes back and he answers one. And I think that's where that excitement comes from, because he holds himself to such a high standard that when he doesn't answer it, he gets frustrated. And then when he does, he gets so excited. And he's just proud to do it for the guys. You know, he's not a guy that gets hung up on being the guy or being a me guy. He wants us as a unit to be successful.
Dan?
Yeah, TD, a couple weeks ago, you go 76% against Trevor Baptiste in the Atlas. Today, you're 72% against Joe Nardella and the Whips. What has been working for you so well these last couple weeks? You know, having some of your best games against, you know, the best of the best in the league.
Don't tell him.
Coach Kelly showed me a couple tricks, but I think it's always just a unit thing. And I think everyone would go up and biasly say, like, they have great wings. Like, the Whipsnakes have really good wings out there. And we thought we had a really good game plan. And the wings went out and executed. I think it was a little back and forth early, and they just allowed us to get into a groove. I mean, a guy like BJ, too, playing short stick now. I just think we're in a really good system right now. And between Tev communicating to me, he's faced off with me for a long time. Jared, I grew up playing with, so we just have a really good connection on the wings. We feel like we have a good system right now, and we're just trying to kind of recreate that over and over.
Last question, Kyle.
Yeah, Coach, I know you said you guys don't like numbers, but key one is one. You guys have one game left. You're going to a hostile environment in Boston next week with a playoff spot, you know, right on the line for you guys. What's kind of the message and the focus to kind of just hone in and be locked in for what is essentially a playoff game for you guys to punch that ticket?
Yeah, I mean, I think, taking us back to Utah, that was a playoff game, and I think we knew that. So the mentality from that point is we got to win. And, we checked that box and we're here and we said, we got to win. And, we're going into Boston next week and the same approach is we got to win. And, if we're fortunate enough to do that and advance to the playoffs from there, you got to win. So, from that point on, we put ourselves in a position where that's just going to be our mentality going. And, honestly, I think the way this group is, I don't hate where we are. And I think that mentally these guys are tough and they're showing that they can compete and they can play. And when our back's against the wall, these guys seem to do pretty well.
Thank you all. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.